Kyrie, and welcome to Parsing John. Today we are in the very last paragraph of chapter 1 of the book of John. We've got verses 43 through 51 left. We're only going to be doing 43 today. This is the rubric of everything that we're looking for as we go through this passage. Let's go ahead and get started. Te apaurion elethesan exelthein eisthein Galilean kai heureske Philippon kai lege autoi ho Jesus akuluthei moi. And that's as far as we're going to go today. Very first thing that we want to find in a verse sentence. I don't know what I almost said there. Verse is the verb. And what we find here as a third word is athelesen. And I think this comes from thelo, or ethelo if you're more familiar with the Attic Greek verb. Ethelo, though, fell out of use, I believe, around 250 BC, and thelo is what took its place. So this form we have here is we have epsilon nu as our ending, which is, of course, a third-person singular. This is thelo, theleso, ethelesa. So this is going to be aorist tense, and it is active and indicative, meaning he wished or wanted. And so this is going to take a infinitive as its object. Let's take a look ahead. We've got an article, and then apaurion is a adverb, so that's not going to work. Exelthein, here we have epsilon iota nu as our ending. This, I believe, comes from exerkomai, exeleuthomai, exelthon, something like that. This is going to be our infinitive. It's built off of the aorist stem, so it's the aorist active infinitive. That's all we need to write down for an infinitive. And it means to have gone. And now that we've finished our verb and its object, we can go back to the beginning and figure out what's going on with this article. As we take a look at it, we've got an eta sub iota right there, which tells us that this is dative, singular, feminine. And so we'd want to find an object to go with that. Nothing is clear that could go with it. Normally it would be very close to its article. Ace is a preposition, so it would have to be something in here. And then that's going to be apaurion. So tei isn't actually taking it as its noun because, of course, it's an adverb. Instead, this is creating a construction that we've seen before. I think the exact same two words at the beginning of one of our paragraphs, maybe even the last one. And this just means on the next day. Dative of time when. All right, and then we can move forward. Ace takes accusative in its object. We find that with tain and Galilean. Kai could be connecting another word in there, but heuriske is a verb, so our prepositional phrase ends right there. This is accusative, singular, and because the article we know it's feminine. Into, showing location towards which, or into which, into the Galilee. I believe that's how it's spelled. Kai means and heuriske is another verb, as I said. Heurisko, heureso, so this is going to be present stem, third person singular. And it's indicative. He found. I think this is actually Jesus who is our subject, so we should actually make this capitalized as well. And he found direct object, Philippon. Philippon is a Greek word, well, Greek name, so it forms normally as far as I'm aware, at least it's normal, as a second declension masculine. So this is accusative, singular, masculine. Philip, period, Kai, and suppose we should actually go through and look at what we've got so far. On the next day, he wished to have gone into Galilee, and he found Philip. And lege is our next verb, lego, ero, epon, so this is going to be the present stem, another third person singular. And indicative as well. All right. He says, autoi, the sub iota here tells us that this is a dative, so dative, singular. This is going to be masculine since it's going to be talking to Philip. Indirect object, to him. Ho Jesus. Ho is another article, so we've got ho, he, to for each of our articles. Nominative, singular, masculine, that one right there. The Jesus. Grothe ends that right there. This is going to start direct discourse. I'm going to add some quotation marks. Akaluthao is our verb, I believe. So this is going to be off of our present stem. Epsilon iota as our personal ending. And I believe this is, since this is a contract verb with epsilon omicron, not epsilon omicron, epsilon omega, this would normally just be the imperative ending epsilon here, though technically it could be third person singular, but that doesn't make any sense since he's saying to someone. So that's going to be second person singular present active imperative. And this verb takes the dative of the thing followed. Moi here is dative singular. Follow me. I believe that ends our direct discourse, but until we actually take a look at verse 44, I'm not going to add in the closing quotes. So, interesting thing here before we go back and take a look at the greater context. We've got a present imperative. Now, in Latin, we have a couple different imperatives that you can use. You can use the middle imperative, passive imperative, and then there's the active imperatives, and then we have the two primary tenses where they appear present and aorist tense. Whenever you use a present imperative, normally what you're saying is do this and keep on doing this. So, if you wanted a child to finish their homework, you'd use the present imperative in Greek. So do your homework and keep doing it with the idea until it is finished. Whereas the aorist imperative is a one-time action. So if you want somebody to go and do something only once, then you would use the aorist rather than the present. That way they don't keep doing it. So since we have a present imperative here, we could read from the context of its tense that it's follow me and keep on following me, which makes a ton of sense in this chapter. So special note there, present tense. Now let's take a look at our context. From the beginning, on the next day, he wished to have gone into the Galilee, and he found Philip. And he says to him, the Jesus, follow, should probably be an either, me. And that's as far as we're going to make it today. And the next thing that we always do is we take a look at any proper nouns without articles, and we try to see which of the two different translation options makes the most sense with an indefinite article or without any article at all. So we have Galilee here, but it's got an article. We've got Philip here, and there is no article, so this is the one that we will want to take a look at. Our first option is, of course, nothing. So, and he found Philip. And our second option is with the indefinite article, and he found a Philip. Now, indefinite article here doesn't change much at all what's going on in the sentence versus no article, period. But this would imply that there are a lot of Philips that everybody knows, and it doesn't matter which one he looks to. But knowing more about what the gospel, the rest of this book and the other books around it talk about, we know that there is a very specific Philip intended, so an indefinite article would be nonsense to throw in there. Jesus found any old Philip, and then there's a particular one that came in later. Doesn't make any sense. So that one cannot have an indefinite article. It does not work. Moving forward, Jesus has an article with him, so there's nothing there. And we've gone through the entire verse. Nothing more to look at. Well, thank you very much for joining me. I hope taking a look at this passage has been helpful for you, and I hope you have a good day. Farewell.